Good evening. Good evening. We are live on the Believe in Monsters podcast, a podcast as a part of the Believe Network. We want to thank the Believe Network for putting us on each and every week. We got Lucas Berry, Chris Krogman, and Joe Gaither here to talk Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears dropped a heartbreaker to the Minnesota Vikings this past week, a game that was a lot closer than I had anticipated based off our podcast last week. All in all, the Vikings won. We're here to break down the Vikings loss and to look ahead to play the Washington Racial Slurs Commanders football team. It was a difficult week.
That's funny.
It was a difficult week for us, but there were some positive things to take away. There were some positive things to walk away from, and we'll just get right into it and hopefully have some fun. Thank y'all for joining us. Follow us on the Twitter machine at BIM_pod. Follow Lucas Berry at LBerry_40. Chris Krogman at ShyBears1985, and myself at Joe Gaither6 for all your Bears content and much, much more. Krogman, how was your week, sir?
Oh, my goodness. Well, your boy got promoted at work, so that was exciting. Bears' second half was very exciting, and there were some phenomenal plays throughout the game. So we'll jump into it, I'm sure. But I had a good week-ish. Lucas and I are both dreadful Mets fans because we're idiots and they suck.
Pain.
They can just go away, but they did. So here we are. Lucas Berry, you're looking phenomenal tonight. The backlight, the way it's cascading off your ceiling, you're looking majestic, friend. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I don't know if I've ever felt as good about a loss as I did this week. So a lot of positives to take away. And we just got to dive into it. Some of the good and bad we saw. And we got a short week, game on Thursday versus the Commanders. So, Joe, did you get to watch the recap, get all caught up on the game?
I watched the game about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago, thanks to Lucas and his backdoor channels. I appreciate that very much. I slept most of the day Sunday in a little coma. Obviously, I knew the score going into it.
Backdoor channels is just NFL Plus, my guy.
All right. Well, I didn't want to give it away that you were just hooking us up with that. I didn't know if that was a secret or not, but now that it's out there,
it's a podcast expense.
It's a corporate account.
Perfect. Thank you, Believe Network, for paying for that for us. I appreciate that.
We didn't say that.
That's great. You can reimburse Lucas Berry at whatever at Venmo, lucasberry.com. I'm sure he'll appreciate that. First, back up 2 seconds. Awesome to be able to watch a game in 37 minutes. And
yeah, the condensed game on there is sick.
It's incredible. But takeaways, initially speaking, good God, the defense, letting Kirk Cousins walk right down the field the first 2 drives, giving Kirk Cousins, 16 for 16, 17 for 17 to start. Just soft as butter coming out. Awful. Justin Jefferson with 10 receptions on the first 2 drives. Just pathetic. But you got to give him a lot of credit. You guys are probably going to get started on the second half. The comeback was fun to watch. There was a lot of good Justin Fields tape to get into. Hopefully, all the Justin Fields chatter will slow down just a little bit. The question marks will slow down just a little bit. Obviously, you want to win the game. Dante Pettis, you're now out of the game.
All right, so that's something we should right there. Did you actually did even though the Bears didn't go back on that final drive and score, I was okay with the result of that game because I feel like the Bears are in a position this year where I'm in these close games. I would almost rather see them just lose to get this draft pick as opposed to winning meaningless games at this point. Yes, it would have been awesome to see Fields lead that drive downfield. I'm somewhat relieved that it didn't happen and we didn't win another stupid game.
He did though. They got that stupid
I
penalty.
I knew if they didn't mess it up somehow, like you knew Fields was going to score there at the end. Like I had no doubt in my mind it was going to happen.
So, Joe, kind of back to your comment about maybe the Justin Fields chatter or whatever will slow down. I think we've all had our, concerns or, really it comes down to hopes not being fulfilled as fast as we want them to. We're so damn impatient as human beings in this day and age. We just want everything now. Microwave society. So it's been 5 games and we're like, oh, he can't progress in this environment. He's just looks terrible. And we didn't even get, and like we said it early that it was going to take at least 6 weeks for this offense to show signs of life or improvement or some semblance of functionality. And they're starting to. So I was very encouraged, like Lucas said, with best feeling coming off of a loss in a long time. First half just was awful. I think we joked around with Gus last week about Minnesota scoring 40 by themselves. So glad that didn't happen. It was a blowout in the making that did not materialize. So that was good, even though the defense really tried to give it away.
Second half adjustments, though, man. I mean, that is the one thing. Another thing I'm taking away from this is that obviously you would like to see the defense come out more prepared. But I think Matt Eberflus has done a great job coming out in second halves this season, making adjustments and having the team ready to kind of fight and adjust to what the opponent's doing. I mean, last year we used to talk about Nagy's inability to adjust ever. So the fact that we are doing this on the fly at halftime and in some of these games, to me, is a very positive sign of some good coaching. And Chris, you had brought it up to me before we started the podcast about how some of these national media members are starting to take notice at some of the development of some of the young guys and also just good coaching overall. I mean, do you have anything to touch on that? I know we mentioned the Baldy video. Who else did we say gave a shout out to the coaching?
Dilfer was very impressed with. Dilfer referenced his time in Tampa under Dungy and kind of just the vibe and sense he got of what they were building. And he actually said the Bears, surprisingly enough, are much better than the Bucks of the mid 90s that went on to be pretty good, a couple years later, winning that Super Bowl, late 90s, late 90s against the Raiders. So it's encouraging to hear that from Dilfer. I did see one wet blanket on the whole Dilfer video. If you haven't had a chance to watch the Trent Dilfer video, he talks to 670, the Score, Spiegel, and Parkins every week after the Bears games to basically break down Fields. But he also talks about the Bears, was very positive about Eberflus, about Getsy, about doing what they can with what they have. The offensive line is a hodgepodge of garbage. Musty and Patrick disappointing. The biggest disappointment is Patrick. You signed him to kind of be I mean, fucking, we want James Daniels back. I think if we can do that, still, that would be nice. Like call Pittsburgh and just trade him straight up or something. I don't think they'll do it anyway. But he had a lot of positive things to say about the culture and how hard the Bears are playing and how together they're playing. as a unit. And once they get the talent, then they can be very successful. He said, now, obviously, you have to go out and draft Warren Sapp, a Derek Brooks, develop a John Lynch, those type of things. But he was very encouraged about the culture and what they're doing in Chicago. So, yeah, I'm not at all concerned about the coaching staff. Joe, what do you think?
Joe, what do you make of the chatter on Twitter that some people may have preferred another one of these coaches in this coaching class to our Matt Eberflus?
The only coach that, 5 weeks in, that looks like, he might have been a better choice, might have. And you never know how things work out with personalities and personnel. But it seems like Brian Daboll was a pretty good hire. It seems like he's got a pretty good mind for offense and a pretty good culture that he's established. Because I think the Giants suck. I think the Giants are not good as far as and we gave one away 2 weeks ago to the Giants. That one really irritated me. Bad. But I think that he's got a real creative mind, and he's putting Daniel Jones in easy situations, and he's utilized, and they're playing really good defense. So maybe that might be the only one.
Joe, that was exactly my point when I was talking to Chris before the podcast, was that I don't really think their offense is doing anything special. I mean, they're basically running read option with Daniel Jones.
Yes.
You could have coached him to do that. I think Wink Martindale is making the biggest difference there. I think that defense is much better than people think. And I mean, we'll see. We're 5 games into it, but
I mean, the only real big shocker to me is beating Green Bay and Lambeau, right?
No, that was in London.
What? Okay, fine. In London. That's a wild card in and of itself.
Yes.
So they beat the Panthers by 3. Whoopity-doo.
Right.
The Cowboys basically dog walked them. Outside of the Saquon long run, they mollywopped him. The Bears, I mean, look, they beat us with some really bad play by the defense, having Daniel Jones run all over us. And credit to Daniel Jones, credit to Brian Daboll for running those things. But what I said to Lucas is that they're making chicken salad with chicken shit, essentially.
Yes.
Before with what they have, they're doing the best. That they have no wide receivers. They have a very talented running back, and they have a quarterback that can run the ball. And like you said, they are playing good defense with Martindale, who's a good defensive coordinator. I don't know if you caught the Dallas Monday night game at all, but I was watching the Manning cast. And man, those guys are fun to watch. They will teach you so much about football. And Peyton was just talking about how he hated going up against Martindale. And as soon as he was out of the division, I think it was when he was in the AFC West, it was just he was so much happier to not have to face him twice a year or whatever it was. So, kudos to the Giants. And you're right, Joe. What do you think about Luke's best friend, Doug Peterson, out there in Jacksonville?
That's been another one, and I think he's obviously doing well. They're playing above their heads as well. I don't know. I don't know if their culture is long term. But I mean, obviously, it's 5 weeks into everything. I'm happy with who we have. My cousin, who's a big Packers fan, has been, I told you should have hired an offensive guy for Fields. You should have hired an offensive guy for. Well, and he's all been, Luke Getsy, he sucked with the Packers. He's going to suck with y'all, And so he's kind of put me in this position to consider a lot of this stuff. Consider, should we have hired Peterson? Should we have hired Daboll? Those are 2 good options. But I don't know. I think culturally, Eberflus fits the Chicago Bears franchise. I don't mind having Getsy. I think Getsy, you pick Getsy out of the system that has been started to spread through the NFL. You pick Getsy out of the Shanahan, out of the LaFleur system, and you see it's working with the Dolphins with Mike McDaniels. You see it's working. It's worked like in pretty much every place that it's been. The Titans are successful. They were successful with it. So I think that I'm happy with where we are. I think people who are saying we should have hired this coach over that coach are probably had higher expectations for the Bears than the three of us. Probably expected us to be more competitive than the three of us.
And that the funny thing, and I think we got caught up in this as well, is you see flashes and you see that Niners game got a lot of people's hopes up, I think. And the same guys that are all upset, that number one, people want to be right, so they come out, they pick their horse, they want to be right. We all do it, but to like dwell in this space is just honestly, it's mentally unhealthy. You're not going to get Brian Daboll. You're not hiring Joe Schoen or whatever that guy's name is. You have Eberflus and Getsy. They're working with a roster that's in a big turnover portion. There's lots and lots of new people. We'll see what Poles can do. I think you got to have a sense that Poles is going to do a lot with this roster just based on the post cuts acquisitions that he made. It makes me feel like he's going to continue to just turn this roster until he gets as much talent on here as he can. But I like what we have. Dilfer also mentioned, I think Spiegel or Parkins asked him what it was like developing under a defensive-minded coach in Tampa, and he said it was great. Said it gave him a lot of perspective from the other side of the football, and yeah, he said he might have been the worst player in football like 95, 96, and then he finally turned it around like 97. So we'll see how Fields does, but I think
you hit on a lot of it with people wanting to be miserable, and we should have gotten Daboll, we should have gotten Peterson. Let's go hire Urban Meyer. Like whoever you say, like you're not going to get, and you're locked in with the Eberflus. And I'm joking about Meyer, but like you're locked in with the Flus guy for at least this year and two more. Period, based off what we've seen with the Bears ownership. And I think that with the flexibility that we have in the offseason, as you just hit, Chris, that what we're looking at right now is just bare bones of what it will be in 12 months.
Well, just touching on this coaching situation too, I think a lot of the anger comes from the unorganization of the offense the first few weeks. But I honestly think Luke Getsy's doing a much better job than people are seeing. Box score watchers are saying, oh, the Bears are scoring whatever, 15, 16 points a game. I think for what he's given and what he's working with, I'm seeing changes every week. I'm seeing different things. It's like, I think Luke Getsy's doing a good job. And I do think Eberflus was kind of holding him back. In that Vikings game, I kind of noticed that as soon as the Bears got more aggressive and they went for the onside kick and they went for the 2, at that point, it seemed like Getsy's play calling also opened up. So not to go all tinfoil hat, but I definitely think Eberflus is trying to control the game flow of running the ball and playing keep away. But you saw immediately when they got more aggressive, trying to get the ball back on the onside kick and going for 2, you also saw Getsy start taking more shots downfield and bigger plays, and Fields was awesome. So I think if hopefully Eberflus kind of lets Getsy and Fields turn it loose a little bit more, gives them a little more leeway in what they can call. So I don't know. Chris, what do you think of that? Do I sound like a conspiracy theorist, or do you think Getsy's doing better, and do you think Eberflus was kind of reining him in a little bit?
I mean, I think there's legs there with Eberflus wanting to be conservative. How much he was holding Getsy back, we won't know. It did look like they allowed a little bit more leeway this week, but maybe that's just the progression that they planned on all along.
Yeah.
We have no idea what the plan of development for the offense as a whole was, for Fields in general. Like, we've seen, well, David Montgomery got hurt, but we saw him get used a little bit different in this game with the passing game. We saw Cole Kmet much more involved in the last 2 weeks, which we pretty much didn't see in the first couple of weeks. I think ESB is starting to contribute more in the passing game, not just being a good blocking wide receiver. So I think it's going to be, number one, a game-to-game situation on how they decide to call plays. And number two, just a progression of overall of the offense and building their foundational pieces and growing off of that. So, let's talk about like this game specifically, the players and plays that I liked, or I'll just overall feel. Number one, obviously Justin Fields looked much more comfortable than he's ever looked as a Bears quarterback in the pocket. His quote after the game was very on point, saying, more or less he has to play within his own rhythm. When you see these big defensive linemen coming flying at you, not having like hitting the panic button, but also not going too slow. So I think that's something Dilfer said as well, was like being able to play fast but not quick, or like make quick decisions but not rush it. It was like something around those lines for the quote. But he looks so comfortable and so much in command as a field general, and as you can see, he can be the best player on the field.
It helped his
any
running
given
too.
Sunday, and his running was great. He made some really smart decisions. That fourth down play was fantastic. The touchdown run that got called back was incredible. But David Montgomery and Darnell Mooney were great. One of my favorite plays, I think I told Luke, was the throw into the blitz in the second half, where the Vikings were coming at Fields full-fledged, and he got rid of it instantly. Pretty much as soon as it hit his hands, he's throwing it over the middle to Kmet. What were some of your guys' takeaways from the offense?
Yeah, I mean, Fields has to be the big one. Obviously the first half he was all right. I mean, it wasn't bad, but he definitely wasn't the start the Bears wanted. And in the second half, when they really started, letting him throw some deeper balls, he only missed one pass, I think, in the second half, something like that. He just looked really good, really collected in the pocket. And now this is 2 weeks in a row where he's had two pretty solid weeks. The stats may or may not say it, but we got to stack those good weeks. And I think if Fields develops kind of at the rate he's at right now, there should be no question in these guys' mind that he is the guy, and they need to just get him help with whatever they have next year. To me, that's already been obvious, but it's nice to see it all come into fruition. And I think national people are also going to start seeing that soon. Some other takeaways. I thought Kyler Gordon had a pretty solid game this week. I think he played pretty well. I think he had 10 tackles or something. He honestly reminds me of, I feel like Kyle Fuller was very similar when he came into the league. He got beat deep a decent amount. I don't know if it was this bad, but he definitely got beat a lot. But he was always a good tackler, super athletic. So corner takes a while to get used to. So it was nice to see Gordon have a good game. Vildor, I mean,
it's funny you say that. I think Vildor is my Fuller comp. He probably doesn't tackle as well as Fuller did, but he plays better in that cover two zone forward facing role. We saw it in that with that second half pick interception. Read that play perfectly to drop into that cover two hole read the crosser coming over and then just jump in front of the receiver. And it was so great because there was a penalty the play before that I was just pissed and yelling at the TV about. And I'm like, we deserve a fucking turnover right here. And it just happens. It's like, that's the kind of like, you know, the good vibes that can happen with the Bears. So that was really fun to see. I agree on Gordon though, Lucas. He had a much better game.
And then my other two takeaways are obviously, should be obviously, Roquan getting juked out of his shoes, just looks kind of lost in the sauce. I know people are saying, "Oh my God, you got to get him defensive line help up front to eat blocks." But I mean, it's kind of the middle linebacker's job to be able to shed blocks, stuff the run, and go sideline to sideline. I've seen Roquan do it before, so just
you can't get blocked by KJ Osborne, dude.
Well, it's not even that too. It's just like he's getting juked out of his shoes by Jalen Rieger in the open field. Like, all right, man, it's really looking like Paul's probably made the right decision here because he's just not on guys like Fred Warner's level. I used to defend him. I think he's a solid player, but he's not an all-pro player. Yeah, we can take off on that. And then David Montgomery's my other guy. I hate giving running backs second contracts, but considering how good of a blocker he is and just how many different things he can do for the Bears, I think you got to bring him back eventually. And just every week he never ceases to amaze me. I mean, that screen pass in the fourth quarter was one of the better plays I've ever seen. It was like, second and 20. They just dumped it off to him, and absolutely nobody wanted any business of tackling him in the open field.
Yeah, I mean, he had 2 second and 20 screens, whether it was that first play of the game, they only had 10 guys on the field, so they get a first down 5-yard penalty or 10-yard penalty or whatever it was. And then he gets that screen out in the flat, the bubble screen, and he just takes it up the sideline and gets a first down. And then, yeah, Lucas, that one in the fourth was fantastic. He's so good in the open field. I mean, we've been calling for this kind of usage out of him for a while.
Run through the pass game.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Joe, what any players or plays you want to touch on? I mean, we didn't touch on the Mooney catch. This is probably one of the best Bears catches I've ever seen in my lifetime. That was just absolutely ridiculous. Odell Beckham-esque, or the everybody wants Pickett or Pickett. I can't even remember which one is which now because of the fucking Steelers with Pickett and Pickens. So I don't know whatever the receiver's name is. Pickens, his catch in the first 3 games or whatever. That Mooney's was better. He's smaller.
Y'all hit on a lot. I feel like the defense was missing a lot of tackles in both halves. The second half also, when the last their touchdown drive where they went for 2 to go up 7. Their touchdown drive, their only touchdown drive in the second half. I felt like the offense battled back, and as soon as the offense battled back, the defense let another drive go by. And your point to Roquan, Luke, is exactly right. I saw there was a screen pass to Dalvin on that drive, and he just got juked or tried to tackle him too high. I just don't know if he's playing with the appropriate pad level. So the defense really concerns me going forward. Obviously, I was on the Dante Pettis hype train in the preseason. After the last 2 weeks, he can go ahead and fuck off. You drop a pass last week against the Giants that would have really kept things going, would have maybe built some momentum on offense. And then this week, 2 big drops. But yeah, your Mooney catch is amazing. Your Mooney catch was otherworldly. The first Bears catch that comes to mind, maybe on similar levels, not one-handed, but Alshon Jeffrey in the corner. of the end zone. Was that against Philadelphia? I feel like, or he's falling away, making a catch. I don't know what year that was, but Alshon comes to mind. That's you touched y'all hit on Montgomery. I feel like the line really was average at best, not exceptional, not terrible. But
I thought that, in my opinion, I think Fields, just rethinking about that game, I think Fields really helped the line look better than they were, but they weren't good. They're still getting beat a lot. Fields was just moving around in the pocket a lot better and being Superman on a few plays, which otherwise would have been sacks. So I think the line still played pretty poorly, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want
But
to
it's
start
nothing
getting,
new. It's nothing new. I mean,
it's nothing new. I don't want to start getting into what to do. Like I think this year
it is what it is.
Is evaluation and hopefully growth for that offensive line or for for this team. So some of the so Joe, you touched on defense. I think Travis Gibson had an okay game. I thought Robinson showed some more promise. I was telling Lucas before we got going, the Armani Watson, Justin Jones are great, rotational guys. If those guys were second string guys instead of Mike Pennell and Angelo Blackson, those guys are freaking terrible, especially Pennell. That guy's awful. I watch him get blocked down way too much. They'd have, they're solid. They're solid players, but we're not seeing Robert Quinn really get to the quarterback very much.
He's been bad this year, man.
Jalen Jones, man, for being an undrafted rookie, has made some plays, whether it be on defense or on special teams. Another caused fumble on a punt. He could be a player down the line. So that was a nice addition. And then I think Josh Blackwell has made some good special teams play. It's telling Lucas the punt that went off the back of his head and almost got down to the 1 yard line was almost a phenomenal play by him, just to get his awareness back after he gets hit in the head with the ball. But overall defense was not impressive. No. But again, they're playing with mediocre talent, including Foquan.
Well, let's dive into this Commanders game. I mean, we got Thursday night. All right, it's a short week. We're going back to Chicago.
Orange uniforms.
We got the highlighters, as Roquan wants to say.
I love them. Joe, you're wearing the shirt.
I just don't like
looks like that.
I don't like the helmet. That's what does it for me.
If it was a matte finish, would you like it better?
Yeah, I would like it to be navy though, and I think they should wear navy pants with it.
A navy helmet?
Yeah, navy, like the regular navy helmet, maybe a matte navy though, with the orange jersey and then blue pants.
What about if it was a blue C instead of a white C?
I thought the C is white.
Yeah, it's white with a white outline too.
I just don't like the.
It's dark blue with a white outline.
Yeah, I don't like the orange helmet. That's just, I don't know. That's just my personal preference. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Are they going to win? That's what matters.
Yes.
The Commanders suck. Another game against the NFC least.
Well, this is my thing. I think the Commanders are not very good, but they also don't match up well with the Bears at all.
No.
The Bears, the Giants, they had Saquon, who tore us to shreds. I'm not afraid of Antonio Gibson and Brian Robinson.
Are we really going to let a guy who got shot 7 weeks ago run all over us, Roquan Smith?
My wife said she would target his legs. I was like, damn, dude, that is ruthless. But yeah, let's go for it. Shoot, hit him in the legs.
That's your Bama boy, Joe, isn't it?
Yeah, he's actually from Tuscaloosa too. So like he's
Oh no shit, born and raised.
Hillcrest High School right down the road. And he's all heart and soul. But man, you cannot let a guy. I mean, I guess he's not going to be playing if he's not fully healthy, and he played this past week. But like the Commanders are terrible. Carson Wentz, you got Curtis Samuel. They don't have. I mean, Scary Terry, Luke and I, we like Scary Terry.
Their receiving core is not bad.
Not
they have
bad,
Terry,
but not great.
Samuel, Dotson. Yeah, I mean, they'll air it out though. That's their bread and butter.
There's no Justin Jefferson to have 10 receptions through 2 drives.
Yeah, I don't know.
If we don't win this game, I'll be real upset, to be honest.
Yeah, how you feeling going into this, Chris?
I feel good, but I also felt good against the Giants. But like you said, they don't have a Saquon to exploit us. And Carson Wentz has no pocket presence. Unfortunately, we don't have the best pass rush right now, unless they play. Like I was saying, 2-3 weeks ago, I didn't understand the snap counts with Muhammad getting so much run and Gibson and Robinson not getting enough. And we've seen an increase in Robinson and Gibson, and we're seeing more pressures from those two. So I would like to see Gibson, Robinson, Watts, and Jones as a front 4 combination at some point, or get a good amount of playing time together, because I think those 4 could create some pressure. And then, blitz Roquan a little bit more, dude. I mean, he can't protect himself against the run, so just shoot him through a gap and hope he makes a play.
I think they got to send some heat this week. I mean, man up.
Carson's due for like a big 3 turnover game.
I mean, he's like a Walmart Kirk Cousins almost. He'll always make the back-breaking mistake. He'll get sacked a ton. He's just careless with the football. But then he does have those games where he just looks like he should be an MVP or something. But those are few and far between anymore.
If this game against the Vikings was a nighttime game, we would have won that game, because Cousins would have completely folded and Justin shines under the lights.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like the Bears' wave of momentum, kind of the way they stormed back in that second half versus how the Commanders lost last week, and then you go on a short week with minimal practice. The Bears are coming back home. I'm sure they'll have a decent crowd there. And the Commanders have to travel and they're banged up. I don't know. I think this should be like the Eberflus bread and butter of having the team ready to play on a short week, like being prepared. I actually think I will probably give the Bears the coaching advantage this week, and that's why I feel so strongly about them winning this game.
Yeah, Rivera's not. He doesn't scare me at all. Rivera's not. He's a joke.
I think they're on the verge of, a massive divide happening there, especially with Rivera's latest comments. Wentz is
soft.
known to be a fairly easily.
What did he say? What did he say? I missed it.
They asked Ron Rivera what the difference between the Commanders were and the other NFC East teams, and his response was literally just the quarterback.
He said quarterback play or something. The quarterback play.
Cooper Rush over
to be honest with you, I think what he actually meant was like that the guys have been in those systems longer or something, but I guess that doesn't even really make sense because Daniel Jones and Dayball is a new pairing, so I don't know.
Who's the Manders offensive coordinator?
Scott Turner, I believe. He had that offense cooking versus the Jags. He had some really cool designs drawn up.
Yeah, but they also Wentz hit some dimes, dude, because like the Jags were playing tight, and he hasn't looked like that since, really, right?
Right. Yeah, he hasn't. I mean, last week he had a good statistical game. He had 359 yards. Like I said, he'll fucking sling it sometimes when he has to. But I don't know. The Bears match up well. I think the Bears secondary is good enough to kind of slow down a pass, especially when they don't have a running back that scares you that much.
Is Jalen back this week, Jalen Johnson?
He's practiced both days in full, so the Bears injury report is pretty thin. And the the Commanders have a lot of people in theirs, including Wentz.
What about, is Logan Thomas playing for them?
He was on the injury list.
Okay.
Chase Young isn't back yet.
Do we know if N'Keal Harry is going to make his debut this week?
Luke Getsy said he's a long ways away, or he's got a long way to go, or something like that. So I don't think so.
In terms of health, or in terms of understanding the playbook?
It was kind of vague. They asked him they're like, oh, he's practicing, but he still has a ways to go, or something like that.
Speaking of guys that came back from injury, how about that Bayless Jones touchdown, boys? Unlocking the offense. Catches his first touchdown of his career.
Wow.
Unlocking the offense. Dude, Jalen Reagor scored the same type of touchdown.
Yeah, I'm not giving him that much credit.
Bayless Jones has more touchdowns than George Pickens.
Bayless Jones had to actually work for his touchdown. Freaking Rager's was wide open. Like, they had a gaping hole.
And it was from like a half yard away.
Well, so was Jones.
Rumor has it.
Jones was like 5 or 6, right?
I don't think so.
Rumor has it Roquan's ankles are still at the 2-yard line.
I didn't know they brought the answer in to play.
Oh man, that was bad. Yeah, I don't know. I just maybe I'm just riding the wave. But as soon as this line came out for this game, I think I was watching Sunday Night Football. I saw the line. It was Commanders favored by 1 point. I made one of my larger bets on Bears money line immediately. I just have such a good feeling about this game. Probably just jinxed myself there, but I don't know.
Did you put more or less than you did on the Gators?
Less.
He's not that confident, Lucas. Or Joe. Lucas isn't that confident.
That Gators was a 100% bomb.
Well, yeah, you were 100% bombed when you made the bet.
Worked out in my favor.
Yeah. The 10.5 that he was trying to talk us into.
I'm glad it worked out.
Backdoor.
It was close to not working out.
Got a little Riley Reed coverage.
That's why you don't watch college games, man. You just look at the final score because that shit happens all the time. I feel like,
dude,
it's crazy.
Dude, you're not wrong, man. They come storming back. It's out of control. But I mean, the Bears did it. Like, I wonder what the Bears.
What'd you say, Joe?
The line is currently even spread. Excuse me.
Yeah, I checked this. When I checked it earlier, it was 1.5 Bears, so it moved 2.5 points on FanDuel.
I wonder what the most points the Bears were getting when it was 21-3.
That's interesting.
You know what I mean? Because we should probably bet them more in the second half or bet them more at halftime because they're a second half team. That's the first touchdown they've given up in the second half this year, then, right?
And they really made him earn it.
Yeah, it was like a 17-play, 95-yard drive or some shit.
It was brutal to watch. I kind of felt like the Vikings were definitely going to score on that drive, but they didn't give it to them easily, so at least they put up a fight with it.
You got to pressure Cousins. I mean,
That's the thing. The Bears have nobody on their line who can generate a ton of pressure. I mean, Quinn has been basically non-existent, and I feel like they just don't give Gibson enough snaps, as you alluded to, Chris.
So tank for top 2 pick and take Will Anderson?
Or Jalen Carter.
I don't think they're going to get a top. I don't think they're going to get a top 5 pick.
I don't either.
Honest.
I think they'll probably be in that 10 to 11 range again, like they picked last time when they got Fields. Well, I guess they traded up for that, but I think that's where their pick will land.
Yeah, I think somebody was breaking it down. Like if they're like a 6 to 8 win team, they'll pick anywhere from like historically like 9 to 15 or something like that.
I would say the good thing about just at least my overall, what little I know about the draft class next year, I think if the Bears are looking receiver, I don't think there's too many guys who are like a Jamar Chase in this class, like a top 5 lock or anything like that. I think a lot of those receivers are going to be mid-first round guys, so it kind of bodes well for the Bears in that area.
Is there an Anthony Munoz in this draft or a Joe Thomas?
There's 2 really solid tackles. Interior line, I honestly haven't looked too deep into.
I mean, I say this all the time. I like to trade back. I mean, I would like to get more picks. I mean, we're still a couple of years away. I wouldn't want to necessarily move back and get a first rounder next year, but if there's a team with 2 first rounders this year that wants to move up, I'd definitely be interested in that. Or acquiring just a lot of draft capital. I think polls can do a lot with a lot of picks, so we'll see what happens there. But we're still a ways away from all of that.
Trade up for the number 1 pick and then start trading back.
Yeah, like the simulator.
That absolutely, it works.
It works in Madden.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I don't know. I just have a great feeling about this game versus the Commanders. I think this is, like I said, I just hope the Bears kind of ride the momentum wave they had in the second half of that Vikings game. Just take those plays that were working the field and just keep them cranking. I mean, no need to do this establish the run and play to punt nonsense. Just go full throttle and just throw on them early and often.
If you had to guess how many yards per game the Bears are averaging passing so far, what's your guess?
160. Is it lower?
Yes. 135.
Yes. That's because he threw for 200 yards this game.
Well, if I told you that the Bears have scored more points than the LA Rams this year, would you believe me?
Well, I guess since you're asking,
I mean,
would.
the way you're asking it, I'm going to have to now.
But I wouldn't on the surface.
Well, there's your answer. Passing yards on everything, Buckeye.
Buckeye.
I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this a Fields explosion game? Is this going to be like the Steelers game he had? Is this going to be the first game he throws for 300 yards in his career in the NFL?
No.
Yeah, I don't think they'll give him enough pass attempts to do that.
There's not enough weapons. There's not enough. I mean, not with Dante Pettis running through the secondary. Not with Dante Pettis and goddamn Cole Kmet running through the secondary.
Looked fine in the second half, man. If he had more opportunities, he would have done it last week too.
Yes, I just wanted to throw Cole Kmet in there and see if Krogman would even look up.
What do you think, Krogman? How many yards is Fields throwing for versus defense?
You're fucking tripping, Joe, because he's the shit.
260.
He's very competent, dude. That was another one, dude. Both Dilfer and fucking Baldy had nice things to say about Kmet. So you keep your little mouth shut, Joe Gaither.
268 for Fields.
I would take that.
What's your? You got a prop bet on that, Lucas? What you got? Look that up while I look up something else.
All right.
So Washington is currently giving up 235 yards a game.
That's it?
Yeah.
I
Last
feel like
game
that's
was
not a
the
ton.
no. Last game they only gave up 136, so that's probably playing into a big part of it. But they probably gave up a short field a lot of the time, and that's why. Chicago is only giving up 197 yards per game.
Yeah, Washington is also, I think, 7th in sacks this year, so they're not terrible at getting to the QB. Yeah, but see, they give up 25.6 points per game. They give up over 100 rush yards per game. They give up 200. Wait, where are you getting your numbers from, Chris? I'm looking at this, and this says they're giving up 235 passing and 110 rushing. Were you just talking about passing?
Yeah,
Or you
that's what I
talking
said.
about total?
110
just
passing
rushing.
and 255.
No, I said passing.
Oh, I thought you meant total. Yeah, total I'm seeing 345.
No, yeah, 345.6. No, passing yards a game, passing yards per. Yeah, 25.6 points per game. They're 25th in the league. Middle of the pack, 345.
I feel like they're an average to bad defense. Probably about an average defense, but I think they can be got.
They give up a lot of completions. They're fifth in they're fifth in completion percentage against, which is not good. They are 8th in sack percentage. They're 25th in sacks against, so they give up a sack on 8.7% of dropbacks. They are 31st in turnover margin per game. That is terrible. 22nd in takeaways. 32nd in takeaways. Or 22nd in giveaways. Sorry.
They suck. If we lose this game, then we really suck.
I agree. If we lose this game, we suck. I'm gonna go bet my house on this.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
So that my kids can go to college.
Don't do that.
Joe, I'm not that kind of gambler. I don't do that.
Just when you think you got a sure thing.
There's no such thing as a lock. Did we lose Lucas, or is he looking up that?
Oh, he's getting naked, and so he turned his camera off.
Oh yeah,
Luke, you know we don't mind.
Yeah, we don't mind, Lucas. It's okay. He's still in studio. He didn't leave. I don't know where this dude went.
I'm looking at the prop, man. I can't find it. I don't think they have it up yet.
Oh, looking at the prop, man. Where'd you check on FanDuel?
Yeah. No prop
sometimes
yet.
they don't post. I mean, I'm surprised though, dude. It's Tuesday for a Thursday night game. That's kind of shocking.
They probably want to see the inactives and stuff tomorrow, see practices.
They have them up on DK, so it's 175 for Fields.
Is that it?
Yeah. It doesn't. They don't have one for Wentz.
Lock.
They have.
I'll create my own for Wentz.
So they have
239.
So they have like 199 and a half at minus 220. So your 110 line's probably going to be what, like 230?
Yeah, 239 is what I said it would be.
Pass plus rush yards. Justin Fields over 221. So they're giving him 50 yards in rushing on that. Because it's over unders 175 for passing.
Cash.
Fucking crazy, dude. Cash, money.
Do you not think so?
Well, right now,
I don't disagree.
Right now, the Bears are at -1. Let's get Any concluding thoughts on this game? Wild. All right,
Oof.
you guys got to give me a wild prediction for the game. One wild prediction, and then who you think will win.
So we're doing like bold predictions like Hogan Johns. Let me check something real quick. Go ahead, Joe, with yours. I'm gonna check one.
I got two that stuck out of my head. Like the first two things that stuck out of my head when you said that, Luke, was number one, Fields will have 2 rushing touchdowns over
Oof, oof.
20 yards each.
Jeez.
Whoa.
Wow, talk about bold.
Yeah, my
Holy
other one was
smokes,
was Fields will have a touchdown pass, at least one touchdown pass, 40 yards or more.
So mine is gonna be 2 touchdowns for Montgomery.
Oh, Monty. He's the man.
Joe, what was your second prediction? That was crazy.
The second one was Fields will have at least one touchdown pass of over 40 yards or more.
Actually,
Oh
2
my
touchdowns
God.
for Monty is not that bold. I was gonna say Monty or Mooney gets his first touchdown.
That's kind
I
of
was gonna say Mooney or Komet get their first touchdown. Like calling a Cole Komet touchdown though is like seeing a unicorn, dude. The guy scored like 1 NFL touchdown in his
he
life.
sucks.
It's like
Who's the
seeing a
last
unicorn.
good
That's
Bama
funny.
tight end that came out?
Oh my
O.J.
god.
Howard.
No, Ozzie Newsome.
Shut up, Ben. Watch Michael Mayer be a top 5 pick.
Michael Myers.
It's
All right.
But that's kind of what I was thinking, Krogman, with my second one, the long touchdown pass. I bet you Mooney gets that 45-yarder right there, play action pass, shot.
So if this wasn't a Thursday game, so what I was going to say before we started talking all this betting stuff, Lucas, you talked about this a little bit earlier. I think this really does shine a light on how Eberflus is as a coach. How's he going to get these guys ready on a short week against an opponent that is very beatable at home? You know, how well does he get this team prepared? I'm really interested to see stuff like this on a short week, and then I really want to see what happens coming out of the bye week. And I don't know who they play coming out of the bye week, but if it's a winnable game and they don't look prepared, that's annoying. Which I don't think we're gonna run into like we did with Nagy for 4 years.
Well,
or whatever.
even after this week will be interesting. So I mean, they come back on Monday night versus New England. I mean, he's going to have a whole lot of time to prepare for that team, who also should be beatable, but not like this. I mean, the Patriots are solid, but I think the Bears could beat them. But I think it'll be interesting to see how they go, like you said, from last week to this week, and then this week to next week with the extra time to prep.
How many times did extra time to prep with Nagy since death?
What'd you say, Chris?
They just beat the snot out of Detroit in Boston.
That's
so
the Lions suck.
Bailey. Yeah, they do. I've been saying it all year, Chris.
Dude, but you've said their defense sucks and they didn't score a point, dude. Their offense is number 1 scoring offense in football.
Terrible.
And if that's not sustainable, then they're even worse than the one win they have.
Okay.
They suck. Dan Campbell is the worst coach in the league now.
Yes.
Now that Blockhead got fired.
Hey guys, we gotta.
Just he goes for it on 4th down, and he'll be on his own 20. He'll be like 4th and 20. Be like, yeah, we're gonna run the football.
We just gotta do the little things right. We're gonna drag them into deep water.
Then he'll start crying in the press conference. I would go out to war with my guys. I just got beat 29-0 by Bailey Zappi.
Oh, he's such a clown.
Okay, so this is a Bears podcast. Let's circle back. So, Lucas, the over-under is 37.5.
You didn't even give me a chance to do my prediction, dude.
Well, you started talking about the fucking prep for the Patriots game. You're 2 weeks ahead of me.
I'm going to a game, man. I'm excited, all right?
Well, then don't
my prediction is that Robert Quinn will have two or more sacks this game. He is going to beat Charles Leno like a drum.
That'd be nice. That would be nice.
Do you think Mrs. Leno will be on Twitter for that?
No. Yeah, she'll probably be trash talking or something. She'll probably be at the game.
She should hang
One of her
out.
homemade shirts.
She should hang out with Brittany Mahomes.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
And Jackson.
Yeah, 37.5 is the over-under though. So
we should blow that. If we blow that out of the water, then I'll feel really good. Like if we can, so that's what's that implied points then?
if we're a 1-point favorite,
it's like 19. I think it's 19-18 essentially. If we scored
like that.
If we scored 28, we're cooking. Because like with all the touchdowns that Joe and I just predicted, we scored like 40. So
I mean, dude, if they played the pace they played in the second half last week, they should score a lot of points.
Why do they not though?
Because Eberflus tells them to play conservative and play for the punt. And
yeah, but they went for that onside kick, dude, and they went for it
on
on fourth down.
He had no choice when he was down by 3 scores. That's what I'm saying.
In every game,
yeah, that was That was before halftime, though, wasn't it? It's not like they had this.
The onside kick was in the second half. They got the ball, they kicked a field goal, then they went onside kick.
Well, I don't think he had to do it at that point, but regardless, I think he's opening it up a little bit.
Well, that's what I'm saying. To me, it's no coincidence that the moment he showed he has a pair of balls, that the offense started opening up a little bit. I think
that's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you.
But so if they play at that pace, I mean, they should easily score that many points. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Are you thinking over under, Chris?
Oh, way over. We're blowing them the fuck out. We're gonna score 40 by ourselves. 40 burger on the Manders, no problem.
You think so? Get out of town,
dude. The only problem is it's a Thursday night game, and they're always low. They're always low scoring.
Yeah.
So it'll probably be some fucking stupid 12-9 bullshit or whatever, but I hope not.
12-9.
Dude,
what do you think, Joe?
Dude, it was ugly. Like these Thursday night games suck.
Yeah, I don't know why they do, but I think it's going to be
because it's 3 days, dude. You get like 3 days to get ready and play again. That's fucking stupid. These Thursday night games are bad for, player safety.
I think it's going to be. I was close last week with the Vikings score. I think I said 28 or 29. I think I said 28-9 is what I said. Obviously,
it's not close.
I was close with the Vikings. They scored 29 points.
He was team total close, is what he's saying.
They scored 29 points, and I predicted 28.
Game. It doesn't matter. You missed the Bears portion of that score.
The Bears scored a lot more than I predicted, though. I think the Bears will score 26 points. And I think the Washington Racial Slurs Red Tails Commanders football team will score 17. 26-17.
No, my real prediction is going to be 24-13 Bears. Still goes under because of the stupid Thursday night game, but I think we could put some points up. And I think the Manders are garbage.
Yeah. I agree. I think the Bears are going to win 27-17, so I'm going over the total. I think a decent amount of points will be scored here, and I am doing what I did in the Texans game, and I am stamping a lock on a Bears victory this week. No doubt in my mind.
Lock it up.
You guys haven't used yours yet at all this year.
I didn't know that was in the contract. Wasn't anything that I signed.
I make it up as I go. This is
every time I make a prediction, I'm locking it in.
Yeah, they're all locks, bro.
No, this is the lock.
The only one I missed as far as win-loss is the daggum Giants game.
We
always play so bad against the Giants.
We do. So, do you want to know preseason what our predictions for last week were against the Vikings?
We gave score predictions for each game.
No, I didn't say we gave score predictions, just what our win-loss was.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Joe had us winning that game, and then Lucas and I had losses. We all have us winning this game coming into. Man, we're about to go on a fucking run. According to my schedule prediction, we win this game against Washington, lose next week, which I think we can actually win against New England.
No, we're winning against New England.
And then we play Miami and win, Detroit and win, Atlanta and win, Jets and win, and then we beat Green Bay and Chicago.
That would be insane.
But
The only one I don't agree with is flip the Dolphins and the Patriots. We're gonna beat the Patriots, but the Dolphins are gonna beat us.
Only if Tua's back, man.
I think the Jets will beat us too. They look pretty good.
I don't think the Jets will beat us. I think that could go either way. I mean, I don't know if they'll beat us. I think it can go either way. Only because it's in New York do I think that they have an advantage.
All right, Joseph, take us away.
Here's to a Bears victory. Lock it in. Bear down, Chicago Bears. Oh, my gosh. Bear down, Chicago Bears. Put up a fight with the might so fearlessly. Bear down, Chicago. Oh, my gosh. See, it's been a long day. Hold on. We're going to lose now, all because of this.
It's not losing, dude. I have the stamp on.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Bear down, Chicago Bears. Make every play clear the way to victory. Bear down, Chicago Bears. Put up a fight with the might so fearlessly. We'll never forget the way you thrilled the nation with your T formation. Bear down, Chicago Bears, and let them know why you're wearing the crown. You're the pride and joy of Illinois, Chicago Bears. Bear down.